Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Advanced Warfare in Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about advanced supply drop stats. Also going to be comparing them to regular supply drop stats. Going to see which one is better. Results are going to be surprising. How much you would need to buy in order to ensure that you get elite weapons. And we're going to talk about some of those advanced supply drop conspiracies because the math is actually in favor of one of them. Gameplay that you're going to get to see is me using a silenced AK-12 feeder here. Just mostly trying to slay people. Going to try to win this game. Get a really good kill-death ratio, but I don't believe I pull it out. So let's talk about the advanced supply drops. First thing I want to tell you is that this is not my original work. I am reading from a forum post, and one of the Den Bros at the Den Kirsten forums, Lincoln Nido, or Lincoln Nito, or Lincoln Ito, I've never heard his name said before, so I don't know how it's pronounced, did all of this original work. He got the advanced supply drop data from T-Martin, Allier, So Superior, Nade Shot, Midnight, Prestigious Key, Unknown Player, and Chaos X Silencer, their videos, and compiled them all into one giant spreadsheet to make this. And if you want to just read this on your own, I put the link down there in the description, but that's the work that I'm basing this off of, and I do feel that it's important to give credit where credit is due. Comparing the total weapon drop rate between normal and advanced supply drops, and this is just weapons in general, enlisted, professional, elite, whatever. In a normal supply drop, you have a 43% chance to get one weapon, and in an advanced supply drop, you have a 96% chance to get one weapon. And that sounds great, but unfortunately the odds don't go up. You have a 96% chance to get one weapon and one weapon only. When we go to two weapons, normal is 16%, and the advanced drops down to 4%. Very, very sharp drop. And when it comes to three weapons, the normal is 2%, and the advanced is 0.1%. You are going to get almost no 3 and 2 weapon drops from advanced supply drops. And when it comes to getting weapons in general, just total weapons, you will get more total weapons with regular supply drops than you will with advanced supply drops. That's not to say advanced supply drops might not give you more elites, more professionals, whatever, but if you just want weapons in general, just maximizing the total amount of weapons you get, regular supply drops are going to be the way to go. A few other unusual facts about advanced supply drops is you will never get enlisted boots or gloves in an advanced supply drop. Like, you will never get those junky kind of enlisted, very low tier gear items in advanced supply drops. They just don't exist. They've been completely peeled out, so all that Nigerian nonsense you get with a regular supply drop you won't have to deal with whatsoever. And the chances of getting an elite weapon are also unusual. So in a normal supply drop you have an 11% chance to get an elite weapon. If I'm not mistaken, Sledgehammer said it was 15, but I'm basing this off of the advancedwarfare.co.uk blog that we used in the last one, the analyzed supply drops, and the number they pulled was 11%. That was from the raw data. Advanced is a little bit less than half of that, or it's actually close. It's 5%. It was technically 5.333 whatever, but I cut off the rounding. So the odds of getting one elite weapon in an advanced supply drop is 5%. Not really great. That means you would have to get approximately 20 or a little bit more than 20 to guarantee that you get at least one elite weapon, and that kind of money adds up pretty quickly. And while that seems really damning for the advanced supply drops, that's not the whole story. I'm going to start saying ASDs from here on in because that nomenclature is catching on, and it's easier for me. ASDs are weighted far more heavily for professional weapons than regular supply drops. Like, for whatever reason, you're way more likely to get some of the upper tier professional weapons in an advanced supply drop than you are in a regular one. So your elite odds might not be great, but you're going to get more good guns because it's not going to be giving you very many enlisted guns in the ASD. That's something to keep in mind, and there are very good professional weapons. If I'm not mistaken, the ARX Steel Bite is a professional weapon, or the Hole Puncher. The professional ARX is like one of the best weapons in the game. I get the Steel Bite and the Hole Puncher mixed up all the time, but you have a much better chance of getting that in an advanced supply drop than you do in a regular one. Or the melee variants are very, very good. Some of the BAL variants are good. Some of the ASM-1 variants are very good. There are excellent professional weapons in this game, and you have a much higher chance of getting those through ASDs than you do through regular. Advanced supply drops also give more elite gear than regular supply drops. This is not only because they have the unique elite gear like the Cowboy and the Hazmat and the Kraken and all that, but just in general of the elite gear that's in the game, they're way more likely to give that than a regular supply drop. And a matter of fact, it seems that they're more geared to giving gear than anything else. Like, looking at the stats and the business model and everything, I'm thinking that one of the core components of advanced supply drops isn't necessarily the weapons as it is to encourage players to buy them to complete their cowboy suit or their squid suit or whatever it is that they're kind of working on. And that if that's something that's important to you, then this is going to be up your alley. Next up, the question I am often asked is, how many do I have to buy to guarantee that I get an elite weapon or to ensure that I get something good? Of course, this is on a distributive probability basis, so theoretically you could buy 1 million of them and get nothing. It's kind of like the roulette wheel. It's gambling in a sense. However, probabilistically there are numbers we can pick, and you have to buy about about 24 advanced supply drops to ensure that you get something good, which is going to run you about $40 or so, depending on which packs are individually. 24 of them will almost ensure that you're going to get some kind of elite weapon. Can't get, by something good, we're talking elite weapons here. We're not talking about the cool cowboy hat or whatever, because I know all of you really want the guns. You're all about the guns and not the decorative stuff. 24 should guarantee you 1 or 2 elite guns. If you want to go higher than that, of course, you get more. Moving toward the end of the episode here, this is where we're going to get a little crazy, weird, and conspiracy town. And that's that advanced supply drops don't seem to be randomly distributed by the players. I was reading about this on the forum post, and I was reading through Lincolnito's data and how he was testing it and this sort of stuff, and I was actually going to run one on my own, but he one step ahead of me. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But the advanced supply drops don't seem to be perfectly even or fair, or regular supply drops for that matter. Some people, for whatever reason, seem to get more than one type of good than the other person. Like, for me, I get a lot of Mark 14s. I don't know why I get so many Mark 14s, and Amelies as well, but I get a ton of them at all my supply drops. And that seemed to be a similar story of all the YouTubers that posted video and all the people that had data to test. Some people got a lot of gloves. That's kind of rare, but we mostly focused on guns. Some people got way more SMGs. Some people were very heavy on one particular pistol or weapon or item, and that's just a trend that we were able to observe. Mathematically, Lincolnito and myself, just thinking about it, have not been able to come up with a mathematical tool to prove that this is true, because if you think about it, there's several thousand items, and we're only sampling a couple of thousand here for this data that we're going. So there's big averages. You know, we could have got a bad sample. A lot of different statistical things could have happened, so we cannot prove it yet, but the data does seem to indicate that for whatever reason, different players are weighted to receive, you know, more than one kind of thing. It might just be that there's always something that you want, because if not, then you could basically just buy a buttload of these and guarantee that you get all the guns in the game and you'd be done. I think it's more weighted to make it less likely for you to get these kind of things, so that you're always wanting something or working towards something or something like that. Again, I can't prove this. This is not the gospel true. This is not fact. Do not, you know, go post on Reddit, you know, we've 100% proved it, but the data does seem to generally indicate that. Could be wrong, but it is a very weird thing, because I initially just assumed that they would be a pure and true random, but it doesn't appear to be so. So yeah, surprising info about advanced supply drops. I personally don't buy them, not because I feel that they're not worth it. I do feel that they're worth it. I kind of like some of the gear, and, you know, it would be nice to just get elite guns and stuff, but I personally don't buy them because I'm not a fan of the business model. I hope this episode informed you so that you can make up your mind very well whether you choose to purchase or not purchase advanced supply drops based on the statistical probability, the distribution, all sorts of other things like that. I want you to get your money's worth. I want you to know what you're buying, what you're gambling on, what your odds are, you know, because right now basically we were throwing money at it, kind of like a roulette wheel, but you can't even see the numbers. You have no idea what you're gambling, no idea what the odds are, but we're still doing it anyway. Now that we've got this, and especially this fantastic forum post, which again I encourage you to check out, now we know what we're gambling on, we know what the odds are, and we got it, and then we can make a better decision on if advanced supply drops are worth it or not. Guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. The previous episode was on the SN6 Hammer SMG. That was a fun one. The next one I do kind of got to keep secret, because, you know, we have to keep secrets here on this channel. Drifter out.